Hello. Yeah, so this is a reflection video. Uh, yeah, um, a reflection video, and also kind of like go into who I am. Even though I'm pretty self-conscious about that stuff, I feel as though to be transparent, it's important for people to know who I am, and I think it's also nice to share. It's hard for me to talk about myself, and you know, so I would like to try it. Um, so I'll go into who I am, and then I'll I have some thoughts about it. Okay, so my name is Kenny Fedorko. I was born in New Jersey, and I grew up in Rutherford, New Jersey. Moved to Clifton and then Bloomfield, New Jersey, with my mom and dad. Uh, I was an only child, and around let's see, I went to Grove Hill Nursery School, and then eventually went on to St. Cashien's School, where I was for 7 years, 7 or 8 years, 8 years, and a, a few of the interviews have been from people that I know from St. Cashien's. It was a Catholic parochial school where we would go to mass every first Friday of the month. And I grew up pretty Catholic. Actually, my parents are both decently liberal, but I was Catholic. And yeah, man, I mean, they're kind of things that I want to talk about, but I think they're just a little too personal, but they're important. When I was younger, I had probably around 7 or 8. There was an experience that I had that made me feel uncomfortable, sexually uncomfortable, with someone who was a little older than me, not an adult. But um, man, this is nerve wracking to talk about. Very revealing to me. And that that experience always kind of triggered in me an interest in sexuality, um, in terms of what my sexual preferences are. And I was always so that, along with, I felt like there were some members of my class who unintentionally bullied me. I don't think it was maybe an insecurity on their part, or they were just blind to the way that they were coming off, probably. Um, or they were just asserting their dominance. It could have been any of those. Um, you know, bullying for me, which has been kind of like a major theme for um, a lot of people on this channel, was, I'd be called, oh, you're gay, you're a fag, you're a freak, weirdo. My last name is Fedorko, so I'd be called Dork a lot, which was, I mean, that one wasn't so bad. Um, but fag and being called gay a lot really made me question sexual identity and sexuality, and was it right? Was it wrong? I was growing up in this Catholic school, where it was wrong to be gay, really. Um, and But my family, my mom used to sing in a church in New York City. She has a beautiful voice, my mom. One of the most beautiful voices out there, truly. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Like, her voice is angelic. And when I went to these churches, actually, I think a lot of the priests there were gay, or it was something, I don't know. I kind of got a sense of that. I think my parents talked about that, and, there were family members, uh, influential members of my family who were gay. My uncle Gene, right, who's actually my dad's cousin. Um, is gay, and so I knew a bunch of gay people, but uh, and I knew, that they were no different. They were cool, gay people, and and I wondered if I was, because I was creative. I always thought about things differently. I was outgoing and quick thinker, um, and that always kind of equated to homosexuality for me. Um, and so that kind of stuck in the back of my mind. And as I got older, um, well, in seventh grade, there was this really great teacher, Miss Lombarski, who um, we read a bunch of really interesting books in her class. I think that was the year we read Flowers for Algernon. That was also the year we read, I think, To Kill a Mockingbird, and also Lord of the Flies. And after reading Lord of the Flies, um, I became deeply interested in understanding the human condition and human nature. I was thinking, man, like that's what I want to do as a job. I want to understand human nature. I mean, that's kind of like what I was thinking about early on. But I was like, what kind of job could I get to fit that in? And when I was 13, 14, I moved to Pittsburgh, and I had family there. Alex and Aaron, who have already been on the channel, live there. And but I didn't know, all my friends were still back in New Jersey, 500 miles away, and um, I did get a cell phone when we moved because that was in 2004, just when cell phones were starting to really kind of come into general use. They weren't smartphones though; they were brick phones. And when I moved, it was devastating. I didn't have any friends and stuff, and I to kind of meet new people and everything. I jumped into um, I jumped into soccer, which is a team sport that I kind of struggled with. Previously, like between 8 and 13, I fenced, which is sword fighting, and I used to, do that kind of stuff. 3 or 4 days a week, my mom and dad would drive me into the city. My mom would drive me into the city, and I was at a level where I was competing nationally. I flew down to Florida. I went to Denver and did a bunch of different tournaments all around the tri-state area, Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey, and did really well. I was nationally ranked at one point. Um, when I was younger. Um, so I did really well with individual sports, but when it came to team sports, like I definitely was not the best soccer player, nowhere even close. Um, and um, yeah, I didn't do so well with that. But then what came around is that fall, I to meet some other people. I went into the school play. I auditioned for the school play, Anything Goes, and absolutely loved it. I auditioned. I did great. I went on stage. I did my thing. People were like, "Oh my gosh, that guy's great. He's so funny." And I was like, "Man, I love this. I love like putting smiles on people's faces. I love like making people laugh." Um and throughout high school, I just did that. I was involved in student council a lot, very active in student government. Um, and I always did the arts. I did pretty much every single art except for visual art and ceramics. I did singing, I did band, I did jazz band, I did the musicals, I did the plays, and I had a great high school experience. Um, and yeah, and then after that, I moved to. I was accepted into. I was really interested in going to Middlebury for either languages or to Kenyon for theater. Skidmore as well for theater. I was rejected from Middlebury, but then was accepted. I was kind of like, my second choice was Skidmore, and my third choice was Kenyon College. And Skidmore waitlisted me, and Kenyon accepted me. And I said, well, like, even though Skidmore's my second choice, Kenyon wants me, and I want to go to a place where I'm wanted. So I chose Kenyon, and it was the best decision that's ever presented itself to me. Um, I could have also gone to some other place. Gave me a lot of money. Kenyon gave me some great financial aid. My parents, my parents aren't the richest people in the world by any stretch of the imagination, and so financial aid was really important. And so I chose Kenyon because they gave me a great package, and I went there, and Kenyon is one of the best schools in the nation. And my high school was one of the best high schools in the country too, both private. My parents sacrificed so my it cannot be um, understated. It cannot be stated enough just how much my parents sacrificed for me. Um, they gave up everything, literally, to send me to that school, and it has launched me into it has launched. I mean, I'm just so grateful. I don't say it enough. I don't say that I'm grateful enough for my parents. I am grateful. And I went to Kenyon, and I met these great friends. Oh, my college buddies, who I would love to have on here eventually. Right now, I'm kind of going chronologically for the most part. But I just made some really great friends, and I majored in sociology. And there's this great book by Stephen King called The Stand. And there's a character in there who's a sociologist who I really loved his character. He stood up for his beliefs, and I don't want to spoil it. The book, The Stand, I'd recommend it. Highly recommend it. It's like 1,200 pages, but it's amazing. Um, Best thing I've read from Stephen King. And so I majored in sociology, but continually, took classes in the history of philosophy, in psychology, sociology, theater. What are some other? Oh, I took this neuroscience class that was just incredible about film, and what other classes did I take? I mean, those were really the ones that religious studies. I studied Eastern philosophy there. I took a few classes on Buddhism, Chinese religions. Oh, heaven on earth. Um, Now, to give you an idea, like Kenyon and Kenyon Kenyon is one of the schools, one of the richest, the one of the colleges in the nation that the 1% send their kids to. So of the kids that go to Kenyon, um, 21% of the students that attend Kenyon College are from the richest 1% of the nation. So 1 in 5 students at Kenyon are the 1%. Uh, so they're extremely privileged. But people at Kenyon are that kind of person. I mean, in terms of diversity too, like really there wasn't much that there wasn't that much diversity. Um, I would be lying to myself if I said there was. In terms of race. But like everyone there was just so kind. And, of course, I'm not a person of, I'm not a BIPOC human being. So I can't speak to the experience of those people at the school. But to me, who was one of the many white, you know, uh, predominantly straight white man, that's my identity. I felt very at home there, and just so comforted and supported by a community, and just how important that is to like fostering self growth, and putting yourself out there and debating ideas with people, and um, just how important it is to like talk about things and get it wrong, and have a group of friends who are supportive, that know that the intention of like talking about things and learning is to learn, is to understand. That's the intention. And if we're going to understand, of course we're going to actively get things wrong, but it's towards a greater and more noble purpose. And so Kenyon was amazing. And anyway, then I graduated. I majored in sociology, but I won the acting award at school, and I was just so honored. Um, and I guess I'll toot my own horn, is that I think I was one of the only people who didn't major in theater that ended up getting that acting award. Um, and unfortunately, it happened for a kind of unfortunate reason. But I mean, I'm very lucky. I'm very thankful that I was given that opportunity to act, and to stretch my muscles there on the stages at Kenyon. And then after that, I moved to New York and auditioned, and like, oh my God, I went on like 70 auditions in New York before I got any kind of acting role. I decided I was going to be an actor. And I mean, New York, I did a bunch of stuff that was non-paying. I got some cool paying touring gigs. In 2015, I went to Yosemite National Park and did a show there for the whole summer, which was like probably my favorite acting experience ever. That, and also doing Pennsylvania Shakespeare Festival, was really wonderful. I did a tour of Much Ado About Nothing, and then I was in New York and pursuing working with this theater called the Pearl Theater, which I was loving, and it was like the only classical resident acting company in New York City, and it was on 42nd Street. And like, the works that they were doing and the actors they were employing were just so high quality, and I was just so excited. I was understudying their final two shows right before they closed down, and um, and all throughout this time, I was interested. I've been interested in acting, and I was clowning to make money, um, which was fun a lot of the time, but also like became kind of soul sucking towards the end. I was doing it really just for money, and you know, I, I- that's not how I kind of like to function. I like to do things because I love it. And so I don't think I was doing my best work there, but I was training the new clowns, and I, I, I think I, I realized that really liked acting. I really liked acting, um, but I was feeling kind of doubtful about it too. Like, oh, I like this thing. I can't ever do just one thing. So I was like, you know what? I know that I like to act, so I'm just gonna try to like find consistent acting work for a while. So grad school is the best way to do it. So I auditioned for grad school, and I was accepted to this FSU Oslo Conservatory for Actor Training. I had met some amazing actors in New York who had gone to this program, and was excited to come here. This was actually my well, I really wanted to go to Cleveland Playhouse. I auditioned for only that program a year before, and then this upcoming year, this was my second choice after the Old Globe in San Diego. Um, Great program there, and so I came down here, and I have been act. I just acted. I acted my eyes out, really, for the last 2 years, and I don't know. I don't know if it's really the thing that I want to do. And I think that if I doubt whether or not it is the thing that I want to do, then I need to trust that impulse. And I actually hate saying that, because for the last 10 years, I've been thinking, this this is going to be my job. This is going to be my job. This is going to be my life is acting. And to say that I am not 100% sure is devastating in a way. You build up an idea of yourself that is just kind of just disintegrates after a little while. After um, the actors here are extremely talented, and I'm so thankful. But I think the thing that I have realized now, after this pandemic has begun, is that I care about people. I care about other people's stories. I care about stories, but I love listening. I love bringing people together. I love sharing other people's stories with other people. And literally, this is the time for me to do that. This is a job. If I am able to build this channel so I can share tons of people's stories with other tons of people, and I'm able to eventually raise some money where I could get a camera and go and film people who don't have access to a camera, like on Omegle or Zoom, go out and film homeless people's perspectives on things, and go and talk to the people at Salvation Army who are helping the homeless people. And if I'm able to go to old people's homes and interview them about their lives, and not just talk to young people who basically is everyone on Omegle is young people or older people who are just jacking off, which is awful. But like going and like talking to my family members and interviewing people from like I would love to go to a tea party, like the political organization, like go and talk to them about their ideas, and go and talk to the Progressive Sarasota about that, about like their progressive values. And I just want to make a space here where there are just normal human beings talking about their perspectives, supplemented by international perspectives of strangers from Omegle. Um, I would love to. I mean, I have such intelligent friends. I would love to include. I would love to include them in panel discussions, or have them send in their own videos where they talk about issues for 10 or 15 minutes. And like I since I've been here, I've made more black friends than I have my whole life, and they're just so smart and intelligent. I want them to come on and to talk about their experiences as black people, and where we are in history. And I want I want everyone to share. I want everyone to just share their stories, and I want to facilitate it. I want to facilitate it. I want to bring people together. That's what I want. And I have so many skills that can help me do that. I have a great personality to be able to do it. People's oddly feel comfortable with me, like telling me things, and I'm inquisitive and I'm interested, and I'm actually interested in people, which is important. Ah, so this is what I want to do, man. If I could make money from this and survive doing this every day, bringing people together and hearing perspectives, so that's me. That's me. Today I was feeling down, and one of my friends bought me a book and sent it to me. And this is the book. It's called A New Earth. And thank you for sending me this. Um, it's this book has been called A Wake Up Call for the Entire Planet, one reader at a time. It helps to distance ourselves from our egos, and to open ourselves to a higher self. It helps to stop creating our own suffering and obsessing over the past and what the future might be, and to put ourselves in the now. Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth. I'm 5 pages in. I literally just got this book. was a little depressed today, and this has really lifted me up. After I meditate, um, most days, I've been inconsistent lately. But whenever I run and I come back and start jump roping, I there's this Sanskrit mantra. It's Om Vardhanam Nama, which means I nourish the universe and the universe nourishes me. And I believe that if we nourish the universe, if we give and give our hearts and our love to others and to people who need it, that the universe will return it. I have faith in it. I doubt it often. I doubt myself often, but I have faith that that's true. That reciprocity is true. Um, so that's me. And yeah, I guess there's just one other thing. I mean, my internet has been so bad. I apologize for the quality of the videos because my internet has sucked, and I'm working on it. I reset my router, and so let's see if it's better. Um, but I watched this video today that actually kind of disturbed me. It's about deep fake videos and about how like there was a fake video that was produced of Richard Nixon talking about the disaster of the moon landing, right? And I will find that article and put in the description. Um, but we're moving in a direction where videos may be able to be altered into misinformation. And since that is the primary source of my communication and my art form in my channel, I'm deeply concerned that this will be a problem that we'll all need to confront and understand and be aware of over the next decade, because it's coming. It's already here. And the extent to which information and the media could latch onto deep fake videos as truth is terrifying. And we need to have conversations and discussions about that now. Just like we should have been talking about universal health care 20 years ago. We need to be on the ball with that. We also need to be on the ball with talking about regulation of artificial intelligence. We need to be talking about a lot of things. And I've been talking to mainly younger people who don't have a specialty in terms of like philosophy or anything. But in terms of the current events and the things that we'll need to be looking at later on down the road, AI, deep fake videos, technology, surveillance, um, the legalization of drugs, um, uh, um, basically, yeah, we just need to be talking about a revamping of our entire system, a deep reform, I guess you could say, and deep reforms and deep discussions. um, but anywho, thank you for listening, and hopefully I'll have another video up today um, of a discussion or something. I appreciate it. I love you all. I don't really know many of you. Um, I've had a discussion with 24 of you now, 25 of you, and I hope that, well, 24 strangers, you know. But I hope to get to know you better, and I hope I don't know. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you enjoy the things that you're learning here. And if you ever want to send me a comment, I kind of want to open up the comments section, but I'm also kind of nervous about that because it kind of, I don't know, maybe I should open it up. But if you watch this and you're thinking about it, email me at buildingbridges505 at gmail.com. Buildingbridges505 at gmail.com. If you have any comments or concerns or anything, would love to hear from you and hear your feedback. And Godspeed. Okay. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye.